So, do you think that there's a difference between African American names and Caucasian names?
Oh yeah, definitely there's a difference.
Can you give me some examples?
For example, our names. My name's Toki, T-O-K-I. I'm pretty sure you wouldn't find that on a Caucasian person, probably like a Sarah, which is my middle name. Her name is also like, it's more unique and more creative, while I feel Caucasian names are traditional and passed on from generation to generation.
I think it's more, I don't think it's necessarily in the name, I think it's more in the spelling.
Okay. And you have any other thoughts or opinions?
About like naming wise?
Anything.
I don't know. I think you should just give a lot of thought into a person's name because it's going to reflect that.
Do you think that there's a difference between African American names and Caucasian names?
That was like really odd. That I wasn't expecting that. Is there a difference between African American names and white names? Sorry, Caucasian names.
White doesn't matter.
I don't think so. It really depends on how unique your parents are.
Okay, alright.
Yeah, you can either be like very unique or you can be like not really unique. I mean, I met this white girl named Absidy before, and it was literally A-B-C-D. Absidy. And then there was a girl in my high school, her name was Asha Kwante.
She was white?
No, she was black. What? Yeah, she was black. It really just depends on how unique your parents are.
Okay. Do you have any thoughts or opinions? Any others?
If you're gonna name your kid, give them a name that'll look good on a resume.
Okay.
We do live in white America.
Thank you. So, do you think there's a difference between African American names and Caucasian names?
I would say it depends.
Can you give me some examples of African American names?
I would say African name would be Amadou or Nikawari. It's the ones I could think of right now, or Giannis.
And what about Caucasian?
Oh, Caucasian names, you got Bill, you got Tom, you got Kenneth, you got Matt. Yeah, you got.
Alright, thank you. Have any other thoughts or opinions?
Hi, Mom.
White people names, they are different than black people names.
Okay.
Like, you got like Sharkeisha, you know that's a black girl. And then you got like Austin, you know that's a white dude. Yeah, like that.
You got any other thoughts or opinions?
Nah, that's it.
Alright.
There is absolutely differences between African names and Caucasian names. Like,
So, examples.
okay, like there can be Michelle, and then there'll be a Michelle with a hyphen on top to change it to Michelle, and you'll know they're black. Excuse me, African American.
And what about white names?
But you know what? A white name that is very black. I know a lot of white people named Wanda. A lot of white people named Wanda, which is surprising. But you won't hear a white person named Keisha, Tanisha, Lakeisha, Cherise, which is my name. There's a lot of white names you won't hear that are kind of like, you can use them as white names, but they won't use them.
African American names are more like the Janae's, the Laquel, Trayshawn, the Shawns, all of those, whereas the Caucasian names are not those. I mean, I don't really have examples for those, but like Chase and Ariel and
My name is Chase.
yeah. Well, that's a coincidence, but yeah.
Lakeisha, Chantel, No, Lakeisha, Chantel. What else did I have? Danisha. Sharden. Tawana.
No, you should answer the reason why.
I am. That's some kind of ghetto names.
No, but that's
Yeah, there's a big difference between Caucasian names and African American names. A lot of African American names are names that's made up. Most Caucasian names come from like the Bible and stuff like that.
They're ancestral, right? But black people's names are not ancestral because Africans are like some black person, African name like Maputo. What's that slave one called? The one from Roots?
Kunta Kinte.
Kunta Kinte. Right? I mean, where do you get Lakeisha from that? And Chantella and Shawnetta and what else? Sharden.
Lucretia, Lashonda, Jahim, Rahim, Fahim, Dashawn, Lashawn, Rashawn, Bashan.
Tawana, Lucretia. What's the one from that one on with that TV show? The one with the big, that's all, what's her name? Shanae. Yeah.
Very good.
You know,
Very good.
I could never name my child that, right?
Tyreek and like Shaniqua, Lakeisha, like that's all the names I really hear when associated with African American.
Tyreek, Keyshawn, Lashawn.
Barack Obama. That's a really black person.
Black name, but
I knew
Shaniqua.
LaQuasia, you see?
LaQuasia,
Laquan, Daquan, Dante.
Kwame.
I'm Kwame too. They call me that too. Yes.
Their names rhyme. And all of their kids' names have to begin with the same letter. Like a S, you know, or a T, you know, something like that, right?
Now the Caucasians are Peter, Paul, John, Matthew, Michael,
Josh. It is Josh. Todd.
Michael. Okay. Paul.
Benjamin. William. Harry. Ross.
Mary, John, Bill, Carl, Bob.
Most African Americans that are in America right now, we got our name from Caucasians because, you know, of years of, you know. So, yeah.
Can you give me some examples of black names?
Black names? Lakeisha, Toilette. I would think my name my daughter Toilette, just so people want to talk to her. Yeah, so Toilette. Anything with Day or Lay or Shay, yeah, it's pretty much white people. You know, regular Peter, John, you know, Billy, you know, stuff like that.
You have any other thoughts or opinions?
Since it's 2018, yeah, I feel like we shouldn't have Trump as our president. You know, it's very, even though I didn't want no political questions asked to me, but yeah, it's 2018, and yeah, it really sucks that Trump is our president. So that's what I think.
Do you think that there's a difference between African American names and Caucasian names?
I don't want to.
No, come on.
I wasn't nervous. Let's do it. He's a. You gotta come out here.
I'm good. I don't got stage fright. I'm good.
You?
He's out. I have no difference between the names.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you give some examples?
Black people mostly have meanings to their names, like real meanings, like that really means something. With white people, they just choose a name that they had, their father gave them. Like when a black person choose a name, like it means something. Like example, Marcus would be a black person name. Isn't that a Bible? Somebody in the Bible? I'm not really sure, but isn't that a biblical name? And a white person would have a name like John, but not even a biblical John, just John. Doesn't even just be John.
In America, the way a lot of the parents that I've grown around name their children based off of names that were brought up in Africa, really. And then in America, we have a lot of simple names like Peter and Kirk and names that we normally find in Europe. But in America, because it's such a diverse population, I definitely noticed that in the African American community, the names that I hear sound very African, if that makes sense.
Can you give me some examples of some like?
For example, my name is called Nile, which was actually from the Nile River in Africa. So that's an example. Another example would be, I hate to say it might be a cliche, but you know, like Shaniqua, and that's like a stereotype that I definitely came across a lot in the African American community. White names, definitely Peter, John, like these are names that you would see like on a credit card as like a generic name. Those are the white names that I'm familiar with. So we have like John Doe. I've definitely seen that in person before. That's the actual name.
Well, put it this way, it is very, very stereotyped because sometimes people have been denied jobs because of their names, because people feel like, oh no, they African American compared to Becky and Keisha, you know. So sometimes it's very, very stereotyped.
I think that the whole name thing, I heard before that like it's mostly based off of like African Americans back in like the early 80s and 90s like wanted to like have unique names and not just be named after names that white people have, but like also like white people names, they're more like I've seen recently in recent times more African Americans having those kind of names, because from what I know from their parents, it was like, oh well, we want to make sure that they get a good job. So like when they write their name on paper, if they see like a Tyreek or a Lakeisha, they're gonna like say, oh no, that's a black person, we might not want them at our job. So it's more like opportune for them to have a white person name.
Even though these names are different within whatever race you're in, there's nothing wrong with it. You know, I've also heard that names determine your future. I don't know how true that is, but I've definitely heard that before. I don't really believe in too much of that, but it's a possibility. If your name is, you know, Shaniqua, and you believe that with that name you're less than or you're not valuable, then that might affect your personality. But if you believe that you're worthy and that you're great, it doesn't matter what your name is, as long as you are confident in who you are, then you should be straight.
John, Jack. David. Well, see, David. That's more Jewish, but whatever. You know what I mean? Jack, Karen, Nicole, Jessica. Yeah. Christina.
Hey, I have that name.
That is a white name. That is a white name.
You guys have any other thoughts or opinions?
About white people?
Anything?
Oh my God, you know, to not get started.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to go into a whole thing about that. They want to say a big shout out to you and your YouTube page. What is it called?
Just Chase. _Chase.
Jess_Chase. All right. Big shout out to Jess_Chase doing her thing. Support her channel. She's out here doing creative stuff. I don't know where this is going to end up, but I hope she puts us in the right light. Fat world.
Thanks, guys.